Hello, welcome back to the most dangerous podcast. I hope you're all well. So this is Dark Witness, our new series where we tell a couple of spooky tales with some dramatized witness accounts of what actually happened on the day. So last week was our first. When I say hour, I'm so used to James being here. He's not here just now. He's busy. So last week was my first go at it. I hope you liked it. The figures seemed okay. People downloaded it and listened to it. So I thought, yeah, shit, we'll carry on and we'll go for it. So I'm not going to talk much. We've got two nice spooky tales with you with my witness account like I did before. So we'll get straight into it. Here we go. So tonight's Dark Witness story one is called The Night Visitor in Room 12. So this story takes you to a part of the UK that many will recognise. It's an old hotel on the edge of a commuter town. The sort of place you've probably driven past 100 times without ever giving it a second thought. These sort of places, they collect stories. And over the years, Room 12 at the Marrowgate Hotel has become one of those stories. The building itself has got a bit of a reputation. It was built in 1894, remodeled badly in the 1970s, like a lot of things, and barely updated since. The staff turnover is unusually high. Former employees have anonymously posted online about the quiet corridor, the thing in the corner, and the chair that moves by itself. And although the hotel denies any paranormal reputation, it's been quietly investigated at least twice by local ghost hunting groups. Those oddballs that turn up with a boop, 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 boop. Shouldn't call them oddballs, you probably listen to the show. So both times when it was investigated, the same room came up, room 12. It's mad, you think it'd be 13 or something. Guests have reported waking to the sound of someone breathing inside the room. Several people have checked out early. One described a tall figure in the corner that the lights wouldn't touch. And when the hotel briefly closed during lockdown, contractors refused to clear that particular room after tools were moved overnight. Now, all of that could be nonsense, of course. The mind plays tricks, old buildings creak, pipes groan, and floorboards warp. But the witness, who you're about to hear from, didn't believe any of that either until the night they were scheduled to clean room 12. What follows now is their account, a dark witness account. I'd been working nights at the Marrowgate for just under a year. I liked the quiet. No guests complaining, no kids running through the corridor, no managers hovering, just me and the hum of the old vending machine, and the long hallway lights flickering just like they were always thinking about going out. Room 12 was always last on my list, not by policy, but by instinct. There was something about the corridor leading to it. The air changed. It grew heavier, as if you were walking down a tunnel instead of a carpeted hallway. Even the walls felt closer there. That night was like any other. 2 a.m, my cart rattled behind me. One wheel slightly bent, so it always veered left. I didn't hold it straight. I just finished room 10 and I stood outside room 12, trying to convince myself not to hesitate. The door looked like any other door. Beige, cheap metal handle, but it always looked darker than the others. Almost like the wood was absorbing the shadows. I knocked. Night staff, coming in. The key card flashed green, the door opened a couple of inches, and I heard it straight away. Breathing. It was wet, thick, like someone forcing air through lungs packed with damp earth. I froze. My first thought was that someone had broken in. My second thought was someone staying here secretly. Maybe a squatter or a runaway, or a drunk who'd managed to slip in. But the smell hit me before I had time to decide. It wasn't alcohol. It wasn't an unwashed guest. It was like something sweet, rotting. like spoiled fruit left in the sun. I whispered, "Hello? You can't be in here." The breathing immediately stopped. Not gradually, but dead, instant, like something holding perfectly still beneath the water. I flicked the light switch. The lamp by the bed stuttered twice and then came on, enough to light the room, but not the corner. The corner on the left of the room remained black. It wasn't dim, it was black, as if light that hit that part simply refused to stay. I stepped inside anyway. Training, maybe, habit, a stupid sense of duty that didn't deserve to survive the night. The carpet felt damp underfoot. Not soaking, just as though someone had been standing there in that exact spot for a long time. My eyes kept being drawn to the armchair, the one that nobody ever sat in, the one that the staff quietly joked about, because every time you cleaned the room, the chair was angled differently, as if it was turned by an unseen guest. I reached for it, planning to move it, but before my fingers touched the fabric, something in the corner moved. It was a shape, unfolding, slowly rising, as though it had been lying flat on the floor. The breathing returned right behind me this time. I spun around, but there was nothing there. My heart hammered so hard, it felt like it was bruising my ribs. When I looked back, the corner was suddenly lit by the lamp. No shadow, no figure, but the chair had moved. It was now facing the bed, turned while I'd had my back to it. My throat tightened. I scanned the room, my breath quick and shaking. Then I saw it. A message on the mirror, written in condensation that had not been there seconds earlier. Stay a while. The handwriting was tall, thin, and uneven, like someone had dragged long fingers instead of using a hand. Something exhaled. Something exhaled next to my ear. Hot. Close. That was when instinct finally overruled duty. I ran. I didn't close the door, I didn't take the cart, and I didn't look back. When I returned with management the next morning, the room looked normal. Too normal. The chair was reset, the carpet was dry, and the mirror was clean. Except the carpet in the far corner had long drag marks in the fibres. They were curved, circular, as if something had moved there slowly, repeatedly. Everyone told me I had imagined it. Stress, late hours, a mind trying to make patterns in the shadows. But I hear breathing sometimes, even now, in my flat, far from the hotel, in the corner of my bedroom, and in the corner the light never seems to reach. And sometimes when I wake up, the chair in that corner has turned just slightly, facing me, as if something has been watching, waiting for me to come back. So that was it. So room 12 at the Marrowgate is still available for booking, still untouched by any official recognition of its history, and still quietly avoided by most of the night staff. No wonder. Whether you believe the witness account or not, the number of independent reports mentioning the same things, the breathing, the corner, the moved chair, is unusually high. Hotels are strange places, though. They hold a bit of everyone who passes through them, and some people don't always leave. So that was the night visitor in room 12. I hope you sleep well tonight. Quite a mad story. Hotels, I think, are everything goes on in hotels, doesn't it? It's weird. You don't know. That's the thing about a hotel room is you just don't know what's gone in the room the day before, the night before, week before. Particularly sort of the big chain hotels are not so bad, but when you go to these like older places, the old B&Bs and stuff like that, anything could have happened. Do I think they're haunted? Don't know. When James and I were doing the normal, most dangerous podcast, there's a hotel in Colombia. I think it's supposed to be the world's most haunted hotel, and I was going to do it. And we did what was the hotel? There was a famous hotel that we did where the Eliza Lamb story. Yeah, there's been some mad stuff going on. So anyway, on to story 2. So second story tonight is called The Man in the Trench on Barrow Lane. A great title, short and sharp. So this story comes from rural England, the kind of place where country lanes twist through fields, hedgerows, hide blind bends. There's always, I notice, we've got a lot of those kind of roads sort of near where we live, out in the countryside. We live just going into North Wales, and I notice on tight bends, there's always a hole in the hedge where at some stage a car's gone through it. You look out for it; you'll see it quite often. And hedgerows with that hide blind bends and fog that seems to settle just a little thicker than anywhere else, of course. Barrow Lane is a real place, and like a lot of quiet country roads, it has a reputation. There's some country roads around here that have got a different kind of reputation. It's not an urban legend. It's not something that was invented for a horror film. It's just a road that the locals don't like to drive down at night. So the earliest account of this goes back to the 1950s. Road workers complained of seeing a man standing inside a trench of a dig site after hours. When they approached him, he simply vanished. Of course he did. A decade later, a driver swore he narrowly missed hitting a figure standing in the centre of the lane, only to find the area empty when he got out to check. The reports kept coming. A man in a long coat, no hat, no tools, just standing, watching, always near trenches or drainage work. And then there's the documentation, the boring stuff, the county records. Barrow Lane has had 6 fatal trench collapses since 1912. All men, all working alone or late, and all of them reportedly buried so deep that recovery teams struggle to identify the bodies without medical records. Maybe coincidence. It might be that something on Barrow Lane doesn't like to be forgotten. So tonight's witness account comes from someone who had no interest in ghost stories, no belief in paranormal nonsense, sounds like James, and no intention of seeing anything on that night on their way home from a late shift. But sometimes the road chooses you. This is their story, her dark witness story. I always hated late shifts, coming out at 1 in the morning, brain running on fumes, headlights reflecting off my bloodshot eyes in the rearview mirror. But Barrow Lane was the quickest route home, and at that time of night, saving 10 minutes felt like saving an hour. The fog was already rolling in by the time I reached the turnoff. Thick stuff, the kind that doesn't drift, just hangs in the air like a curtain someone forgot to pull aside. The warning lights from the roadworks flickered in the murk, casting slow pulses of orange across the hedgerows. I wasn't thinking about ghosts. I wasn't thinking about anything except my bed. Then I saw him. The first trench was shallow, waist height at most, and there, standing in it, was a man. No high-vis jacket, no hard hat, no reflective stripes, just a long, dark coat clinging to his frame. He didn't look up as I approached. He didn't move at all. He just stared straight ahead at me in the fog. I slowed down instinctively. I thought maybe he was injured. But as my headlights passed across him, something inside me recoiled. His posture was wrong. It was too rigid, as if he wasn't standing, but had been propped upright. His face was turned away, but his head wasn't angled like normal. It tilted as though resting on a broken neck. I drove on, my heart picking up speed in a way my car never could. A couple of 100 yards later came the second trench. He was there too. It was the same coat, the same posture, same stillness. Only this time he was closer to the road. I pumped the brakes without meaning to. My brain couldn't make sense of it. There was no way he could have moved that fast. Distance between the trenches, it was too far, and the fog was so thick I would have seen someone running or heard them long before I reached them. I crept past him at 5 miles an hour. His head turned, not his body, but his head. Slowly, precisely, following me as I went. I pressed down hard on the accelerator, forcing the car onwards. My chest tightened. My hands trembled on the wheel. I kept telling myself, he's just a worker. You're tired. It's nothing. But my eyes were already watering from fear. Then my phone buzzed. A message lit up the passenger seat. An unknown number. Do not stop. My throat closed. I grabbed the phone. No signal, no service, no name attached to the message. I didn't have friends pulling jokes at 1 a.m. Nobody I knew was even on that road. The third trench was deeper, chest height, with warning tape flapping in the fog. I already knew he'd be there. My body knew before my eyes confirmed it. He was standing right at the lip of the trench, closer than before, almost within an arm's reach. My headlights hit his face head on. He didn't reveal anything. It was as if his features had been smeared, not blurred like a camera, not dark like a shadow, just missing, like a face-shaped emptiness. Another vibration, another message. Beep, beep. He learned your speed. Keep going. I don't remember the next 30 seconds, only the sensation of speed. Desperate, reckless speed. And the sound of gravel pinging against the wheel arches. Then came the final bend, a sharp right curve. It always forced you to slow down. I whispered, please don't be there. He wasn't in that trench. He was standing in the middle of the road, directly in front of me, full height, still, waiting. His coat hung limp in the fog, his featureless head tilted slightly to the side, curious, almost gentle. I wrenched the wheel. The car screamed, the tyres skidded across the wet tarmac. I felt the car tilt, grip, and then lurch forward again. I didn't look back. My phone buzzed once more. Beep, beep. Do not come back this way. He remembers cars. I threw the phone into the canal that night. I couldn't bear to see that number again. I couldn't bear to wonder if the messages had been a warning or a lure. The next morning, the news reported a trench collapse, of course, on Barrow Lane. One fatality, a road worker, found buried under nearly 2 tons of wet soil. Time of death, somewhere between 12:30 and 1 a.m. The same time I saw that figure, the same time he turned his head to watch me pass. Sometimes late at night when fog gathers outside my window, I swear I hear something shifting gravel. A slow drag, like a wet slide, like someone climbing out of a ditch, just far enough to stand and watch. So Barrow Lane still exists. The county continues to carry out drainage work there most winters. I don't know if people keep dying. And despite the number of accidents along that stretch, no one has ever officially connected the sightings to the fatalities. But the stories persist. The man in the coat, the figure in the trench, the thing that appears where someone died buried alive and watches as if it was waiting for someone else to join them. So whether the witness encountered a residual haunting, a warning spirit, or something darker, we may never know. But one thing certain, country roads remember. Places marked by tragedy rarely forget, and sometimes they call out to the living. So that was the second story on Dark Witness, my new little series on the Most Dangerous podcast. I hope you're enjoying them. If you are, share us, like us, follow us. You never know, we could get James back. So thanks for listening again. Be back next week as usual. Enjoying doing this. Hope you're enjoying my new wee thing. I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.